Nice name. Good morning. How you doing, brother? What's up? I'm walking, getting my exercise in, thinking, doing some thinking, thoughts, whatever, getting my shit together. But mostly just walking. What's up with you? What are you doing? Hey, good morning to everybody in the chat. It is September 1st at 5:37 a.m. in the year 2568 in the Buddhist calendar, and in the Gregorian calendar it is 2025. This cute little girl always comes up every morning. She's nice. Anyway, so we're in a new month, September to remember. And nah, you're not doing anything with it. Well, you're here. Where are you? Where are you shouting out from? Give us a shout out. Let us know where you. Well, if you want. I mean, shit. If you don't, that's up to you too. Anyway, here's my plan. Let me tell you what my plan is. I wasn't really planning on talking too much at this point yet, but I'll start being that you guys are here already. So I'm planning to step up my game on my walks. Normally I walk 7 kilometers every day, and today I'm thinking about juicing it up to 15 kilometers a day. Because the weight, I got to a certain plateau and the weight, when the weight came off. But it didn't come off anymore. Now, granted, I'm basically I weigh about like 240 pounds, and 197 centimeters. But I really need to get down to, 95 kilo, something like that. That was good. That'd be all right. All right by me. And another thing is, put a little bit of a dour, sour mood. Because it kind of has to do with what I've been consuming the last 24 hours on YouTube. And it's certainly, I'm sure that everybody's seeing these kinds of things, and what these kinds of things are these nationalistic movements, which I am in favor of. I am in favor of Ireland being Ireland. I'm in favor of England being England. I'm in favor of Nigeria being Nigeria, Thailand being Thailand. I think that's all good, That's like a fantastic thing. But in the last 20 years or so, there's been a lot of mass migration and stuff like that, particularly, well, not particularly, but sort of like France and Calais in France. And that's a particularly bad point. I would imagine in Spain, it's probably by Granada or something like that. It's probably equally overrun with mass immigration. Hello, Runsuat Sabari Lupao. A couple. And I can imagine that, that is a significant problem there. And in the United States, I know that it's a huge problem. And when I mean problem, I mean problem as like what you can do to a society. Like I don't have a problem with anybody's nationality, I don't know, skin color or anything. I don't give a shit about that. What I do care about is that policies are made by governments to ensure that their citizens can have the best, possible life. So, like, I guess in the United States, it's like to perceive liberty in the pursuit of happiness, or whatever. So something to that effect. That does not mean that that or ever was ever intended to indicate that you should, dump an excess population. Now, when I say excess population, maybe excess is the wrong word, but an overloaded population of people who do not have jobs rely on the on government assistance, and that government assistance comes from off of the backs of people who are citizens and work, or government reserves and stuff like that. So I mean, it's kind of I have mixed feelings about it, because I was just watching this guy going through France, by the Eiffel Tower, and and I feel like he was provoking some of these immigrants, because he's so anti immigrant, I guess, and I don't think, in my soul, that's not the right way, to go about it, where you can start provoking people, seeing if you can get a reaction or something like that. I'm sure he probably does it so he gets YouTube hits or something like that. And there are a lot of people like that out there, and they try to be a bit provocative or something like that. But that's definitely not the message that I think should be portrayed. Unfortunately, there's some fella in England. I don't know exactly what the full spectrum of his beliefs are, but there's supposed to be in England, there's supposed to be a demonstration on September 13th. I think it's September 13th or September 3rd. I don't know. I have to look it up. Maybe it's even today. I'm not even sure. But, he's gone out of his way to say, listen, nobody, don't get drunk, don't fight, don't do these things. This is a peaceful protest and stuff like that. And he's going on and on and on. And he's sort of like I guess he's like a leader of this protest, right? So I kind of respect that. I mean, I do respect that. I don't think that it is going to be totally peaceful. I think there will be altercations. And there certainly was going to be some drunk people. But I admire, I don't know if admire is the right word, but I applaud his efforts in trying to make it a public message that the demonstration should be peaceful and not filled with hate and violence and stuff like that. And that's something nobody wants. I shouldn't say that because that's not true. That's something that I certainly don't want, and I'm sure there are a lot of like-minded people. But there are certainly other people out there who they're just chomping at the bit for it, and we'll see what happens. These are very turbulent times. I mean, I have some opinions on what happened in this mass migration type of thing, type of situation that happened in the last 20 odd years. Mainly a little bit of analysis that I've put together. Just like I like to say that it's objective analysis, but I guess as a human being, you're always going to have some biases. I would like to think that I don't. I'd really like to think that. But in regards to the mass Muslim migration, I am a fan of history, and I know a little bit about history. I know a little bit about Islam. I know a little bit about Christianity. And I know that the Muslim, I don't know, they have a word for it, but I don't know what it is. But part of the ideology is to conquer the whole world with Islam. And this is a very dangerous thing. So my speculation is that in the last 20, 25 years, the Muslim community has done an incredibly brilliant stratagem, in my opinion. And what they've done is they've just simply moved into all the countries that they want to convert without fighting, and using propaganda and resources of those countries and everything. Like there's a whole slew of things that a whole slew of weapons that don't include actual weapons you use with your hands. And I think that it was incredibly ignorant and stupid of many, many countries like Sweden, Ireland, England, the United States, Germany, and these happen to be, formerly, Anglo countries. Although Germany and England, have had multi-ethnicities, Africans living in Germany and in the United Kingdom for over 1,000 years. So that's not the issue. That's not the issue that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something else. I'm mentioning the fact that you have these mass Muslim migrations, and I think that they actually have formalized some sort of a plan where they figure, well, if we get enough of us over in a certain place, we can just vote ourselves into office. And then once we vote ourselves into office, we'll be able to get more power and more control and stuff like that. And I think that this is pretty self-evident. And if you look around and you see these things, it's a brilliant strategy, which is taking advantage of a weakness in the system that was put before them. So I don't blame them for, I'm a game theorist. I played games for a living, and I understand game theory. And I think that these are very important things to incorporate into your life. And as a game theorist, I see the blunder. And if you play, you have things which are missed opportunity, mistakes, and blunders. Now, Arun Suwatyai, if you're a game theorist, you'll know that a missed opportunity, there are very, very varying levels of missed opportunities, right? Some missed opportunities can lead to a negative equity situation. Mistakes, once they pile up, can lead to negative situations, but no one mistake necessarily, a mistake is not irreparable, nor is a miss. However, If you make a blunder, that means the amount of space that you give between error and correctness is so large that you have made a move that should ultimately end with your position being lost, be it chess, backgammon, poker, bridge, baseball, basketball, whatever. You can pick your sport, you know? Good morning, Mr. Balding. What's up, brother? How you doing? Yeah. Weak leadership, you know, that's leadership, and it's also corrupt leadership, you know. There was this thing in the United States called abscam. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but this happened a number of years ago where, you know, you have lobbyists. So lobbyists are people who go into, well, I guess lobbyists is like the United States. They'd go into the Senate or the Congress, or you know, and what they want to do is they want to pass laws which are favorable for whatever they are, you know, whatever business they're in. But so this turned out to be, this was called abscam. And they had these, I think it was with senators, and they had these senators who were being bought off by Saudi multi-billionaires for $25,000 a piece. They were selling out for $25,000. Incredible. Now, granted, what they were selling out for was not for massive Saudi immigration to the United States, because they are very well off, and they are, well, it had something to do with business or whatever. But it was called abscam. Anyway, this idea of mass immigration as well, if you try, so you have to, well, you don't have to do anything. I try to think on both sides of the party. Like if I was an immigrant and stuff like that, and coming, like how would I feel? Or what excuses would I make to best promote my cause? And that's game theory, you know? So you like have to, you have game theory there. So I'm looking at these, you know, these immigrants who are sitting on the Rue the Champs-Élysées by the Eiffel Tower, and they're selling trinkets and stuff like that. Now, I know people don't like to see them selling trinkets or something like that, and they're overcharging and whatever. And I certainly don't like to see those, you know, 3-card money or the shell game people and stuff like that doing a hustle like that, because they're robbing people. And that's certainly not a culture that we, well, some of us don't partake in. But on the other hand, I think about it, if I was, you know, if I had to be uprooted and gone to another country and try to hustle up a few bucks, I would, you know, try to do whatever I had to do. And when I say whatever I had to do, I don't mean go out and rob people and things like that. But, you know, I'm not above selling trinkets on the street, you know. But I certainly would not become violent when somebody might confront me and say I'm doing something illegal or something like that, you know. And that it seems to be the overwhelmingly choice of action of people who sell these trinkets and stuff like that. You know, don't film them, don't do this, you're not allowed to, like they're making rules and stuff like that, you know, which are clearly not the rules that are set down in the society that they're in, or the society you would think that they want to be in, or do they just want to be there transient? I don't know. Anyway, so I've seen videos where a lot, it's like Middle Eastern people, sometimes Afghanis and stuff like that, and you can empathize. I can empathize with their plight. Listen, man, their country's been torn apart by war for thousands of years. People have been trying to, like, I don't know why. I mean, there's nothing but a bunch of rocks in Afghanistan. You know, leave that place alone. They're crazy and they can fight like hell. You know, but you know, I wouldn't be the first. They would not be the first on my invitation list. You know, so and you know, others and stuff like that. But what that happens is that you create a moral paradigm where the people who are emigrating feel as if they have a right that other people don't have, especially the citizens who are actually living in the country that they're immigrating to. Some of it has to do with the Islamic view of jinn, which is either basically in quick summary is that when the Muslims come, you have three choices. One choice is you can convert, and they'll let you convert. The second choice is you can stay, but you have to pay what they call some name they have for it, but pay a tax. And they consider that you paying a tax for your protection. Well, I guess you're paying for your that protection you're getting is from them. And thirdly, the choice that is given is that if you, well, yeah, I would say you have four choices. So the third choice is if you do decide to stay and you do choose not to convert and you don't pay the tax, then death is the next option. The fourth option is to run and get out of there. You know, go somewhere else where these things aren't happening. You know, but this is their MO. You know, their modus operandi, and they don't make any bones about it. You can look online yourself if you want to see it. You know, they preach it. They preach it in all languages, so you can understand what they're about. You know, you can hear it in French, English, Spanish. You can hear it in Djibouti, whatever fucking language you want to hear it in. They're saying it. You know, and they're being, to be honest with you, after the militaristic ass kicking that they got,